I believe this is live. Check, check, check. If it's live, then how would I know? Let's check. You are live, it says. Can I watch it on my own phone? Probably don't want to do that, but let's get started. Welcome to the Little Nugget Show, your Denver Nuggets post-game live show where we mine little golden nuggets of insight and wisdom from the play, whether good or bad, from our favorite NBA team, the Denver Nuggets. Now, do we need another Denver Nugget show? No, but I do. Why? Because I got a lot of ideas that always seem to pop up that nobody really talks about, or ideas that other people bring up that I'd like to expand on. So that's what this show is going to be about here on the Waddy Watch channel. Actually, I think I accidentally logged into my normal Flocka Watch channel, so it's probably on both from the looks of it. That's fine for now, but it's home. Although I only have 14 subscribers, I think, on Waddy Watts. So instead of almost 9,000. So if you don't mind and you want to watch Nuggets commentary, and also feel free to join me in your commentary. I know how it is with the DMVR guys. So if you're from DMVR, welcome. I appreciate what you guys do. We met last year about the jersey swap, jersey win rates, and why would I say jersey swap? Anyway, so my main respect for commentary on the Nuggets is DMVR. There's also a couple other shows as well. Why am I adding mine? Well, like I said, I just got to get a lot of things off my chest, and I see a lot of things that people don't see. So we'll see how that works out. Anyway, today, our beloved Denver Nuggets were in the middle of their 7-game road trip out there partying on the East Coast. Where were they? In Cleveland. And they went from Cleveland to New York City to play their old friend Michael Porter Jr. in Brooklyn. Now, as soon as everyone heard AG and CB were back, I'm assuming the natural thought was, well, of course we're going to beat the Nets. They're terrible. Well, I'm going to start off this first show with this idea that I have, that before every game, I feel like the Denver Nuggets will lose. That's not a bad omen. That's more of a, hey, we're not taking anything for granted. No win is guaranteed, and you got to go out there and perform. This is a NBA, dude. I mean, I played basketball. It's not like, I mean, it's like that with every team. Maybe if you're, super mismatched and varsity's playing C team, maybe, but any good players have a chance to beat any other good players, especially in the NBA. And I always assume the Denver Nuggets are going to lose every game until they don't. And I think that's a positive attitude, not a negative one. So I kind of assumed things weren't going to go well in this one, and it turns out they didn't. So they end up losing here in Brooklyn in kind of a blowout that could have easily been 25, 30 points, but I think the final score was 12-point difference, when point difference doesn't really matter. It's kind of the vibe check. Denver got owned. And why did Denver get owned? Well, I took a few notes. Pressure. The first note I wrote was pressure. Now, this has been a frustrating aspect, obviously, since last year, I believe, when Minnesota said, hey, NBA, ladies and gentlemen, we have the solution for the Nuggets. Now, you can put pressure on Jokic, and he's going to cook you either way. He's going to scoot out to the three-point line and hit three-pointers. He's going to dish out all the passes. Or if you play him one-on-one, he's just going to school anyone and everyone you put in front of him. But we ain't got no Jokic now. And even with Jokic, last year with Murray, or was it the year before? And Minnesota, when Minnesota put the Nikhil Alexander-Walker and Jaden McDaniels, my two favorite thugs, in molestation defense, which I'm going to talk about that. We're going to do a deep dive on pressure defense because it's one of my biggest pet peeves as a coach, a former player, a current coach, middle school, a former player, and a big NBA fan. In the later half of this episode, I'm going to do a deep dive on pressure. But right now, I'm going to say that Minnesota cracked the code. And if you put pressure on Murray, he falls apart. If Murray's allowed to kind of shake and bake and get his groove going, it's kind of hard to stop him. But the second you lock him down with a trap, with a 2-team or a triple team, he gets flustered. And once he gets flustered, he never comes out of it. And it kind of spreads to the other guards. And Denver does not have the ability to handle pressure in any of their guards. I was kind of hoping CB would take some of that load. I don't know why he doesn't, but obviously it's his first game back, so you can't expect a whole lot, even though Aaron Gordon, first game back, showed what a dog he is and went out and scored 20-some points. I guess I should, if I'm going to do this Nuggets thing, figure out how to pull up the stats from the game. I did pull up the schedule because I know I want to talk about that. And forgive me, this is the first show ever of the Little Nuggets show. And I plan on doing it post-game every game. And I plan on doing it, what did I figure? It's an hour and a half after the game ends. So right around the end of the DMVR show. So if I can get my life together and get on schedule with the Nuggets, say they play at a 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which I think they might against Atlanta coming up. Actually, let's take a look at that, just so I can see if I can do it. Add to scene. Oh, look at that. So how do I adjust that? There's the schedule. Hopefully you can see me scrolling up to the top. So tomorrow our back-to-back is with the Philadelphia 76ers. We can talk about that briefly. Denver's going to get smoked. Joel Embiid against absolutely no sinners. Oh, my goodness. He is going to eat so much that he's not going to be able to play for like a week. And Tyrese Maxey, good luck stopping him. And Jamal's getting wore out. They might as well just forfeit the rest of their games without Jokic, in my opinion. What do you think? Just forfeit the rest of the games, rest everyone, and what are you going to do? Try and go out and steal one or two? Because oh, wow. What was that? Because we stole the first one against Toronto, and we almost got to stealing that Cleveland one. But the Denver Nuggets ran out of gas in the fourth quarter because they can't handle pressure. And the lowly Nets just come throw a little pressure and they just whoop up. So it's not looking good. Anyway, the first home game is Atlanta, January 9th. They say, the commentators say, over and over again, the toughest game of a road trip is the first game back home. So that's going to be January 9th, Friday, Atlanta Hawks. We'll be wearing the Icon jersey. For those of you from DMVR, I am the jersey guy. Last year I made a spreadsheet calculating the home and away win percentages for each jersey. I have yet to do it this year because it doesn't seem to apply. Denver was doing very well. Actually, we're off to their greatest start in Nuggets history. So they really didn't have that many losses, and I wasn't going to go about tying it to jerseys. Now, maybe about halfway through the season that'll play out, but I think I broke the white jersey curse because in my opinion, last year it was the white jersey curse. Their winning percentage was astronomically lower in the white. And I think it was the last game of the year or one of the last games I got this Jamal Murray white. And I put it on and I got rid of the curse. So I like the white now. Matter of fact, I don't like the one with the pink I bought on it. That's the actual $250 one that you get at the game. No pink. We don't need pink. Pink is so clashing on red. What are we doing? The white I bought on the blue Denver icon So this is called the Association. The blue's the icon. Mile High City is the statement. And City Edition this year is the Rainbow Warriors black one. Anyway, that's our talk for the jersey. What was I going to mention here about that home game? Sometimes I lose my train of thought. Anyway, let's get back to this. And we just hit that and we remove that. And there I am. Waddy Watts, the Little Nugget Show. Powered by EV Mux, which is a software system that I just signed up for. So I was going to do this show right after the... I've been live streaming the last few days. New Year's resolution, trying to figure it out. Trying to learn something new, right? And for the record, we have 3 shows. We're going to do the Little Nugget Show, just Denver Nugget stuff, on the Waddy Watch channel. Also on the Waddy Watch channel, we're going to do the Waddy Watch Show, which is just me talking whatever nonsense comes into my brain about current events, news, politics, and topics of the day. That's what I'm hoping to develop. And on the Flock of Watt side, you know what we do over there. And if you don't, you better ask somebody. Now, where were we about the Broncos? The Broncos. Speaking of Broncos, check this out. Can you see my throwback? Today, for the first time in... Let's ask Grok. When was the last time the Denver Broncos earned the first seed in the AFC playoffs?
Just today, dude. The Broncos beat the Chargers 19-3 and clinched their AFC's #1 seed for the first time since the 2015 season. That's the one where they won Super Bowl 50. Mile High's going to be rocking with that first-round bye.
Okay, so that's my new British friend, Grok, being a smartass. Just today, dude. Whatever. Yeah, I understand that. But yeah, so 2015, Super Bowl 50, that year was the last time we won the Super Bowl. And obviously, I didn't know if they had the first seed or not that year, but they got the first seed this year, and that's crazy. I think they're underdogs to like there's a lot of decent teams in the AFC, but I honestly haven't been paying that much attention to football. 2015, 14, 13 maybe was, but I was an old John Elway fan. And once John Elway won 2 Super Bowls and retired, I was like, that's the end of it. There's no more Bronco football, right? But it's good to see him coming back. Also, the Avs are the best team in hockey history at this moment. And in my opinion, the Denver Nuggets have the opportunity to dominate the NBA in the latter half of the season. Let me tell you how that's going to work. So obviously OKC got off to a hot start, but remember Cleveland got off to a hot start last year and they fizzled out. No, OKC's a different team, right? But OKC has the post-championship hangover. And it happens to every team. And that's why there hasn't been back-to-back in like 7 or 8 years champions, because of this diversity and what do they call it, parity in the NBA. But also, just like with the Nuggets, you get lazy after you win. You got to come back with that hunger. And OKC's got plenty of firepower, but how long will they keep up the hunger? And it's just inevitable. It's always a reversion to the means. Like you see a player going off on 3-pointers, eventually they're going to come back to their average. In order to come back to their average, they got to go below their average, if you understand averages. So that's called a reversion to the means. We're going to reference that throughout this show, because you see teams get crazy hot and then all of a sudden, wait, OKC lost today against Phoenix? Wait, they lost 3 straight against San Antonio? They looked unbeatable. They were going to set a 75-game record. No, horseshit. And Denver's properly primed. If Jokic misses 15 games, AG missed 20, CB missed 18, or vice versa, and they can all get back and the machine can fire on all cylinders, Denver's unstoppable. And that's what we're looking forward to, and that's what we're hoping for. So let me glance at a couple more of my notes. I want to talk about that pressure later, but I also want to talk about, before that, it was something else. Whatever. What did I write? So, storyline: return of AG and CB, plus they're playing against their old pal, Michael Porter Jr. It's good to see Michael Porter Jr. out there in Brooklyn getting his and having fun. And what did he say? He's loving it because he has a coach that appreciates him. Big old slap in the face to old Mike Malone. But hey, MPJ, do your thing. You know, what are they, 10 and 11 and 22? Okay, cool. But I think MPJ might become an all-star. And that would, how ironic would it be if MPJ and Jamal Murray met again in the all-star game? That would be cool. And nobody really cares about the Brooklyn Nets in general, except them. And they showed it today. They came out with the right energy. They didn't play anything spectacular or exceptional, in my opinion. I mean, MPJ had a decent game, but it wasn't like he was just going off. He had a couple shots that were unbelievable. That is the truth. But they honestly didn't play that good. Denver played terrible. Not everyone on Denver played terrible. AG played great. CB, not so great. But in terms of non-Jokic wins, what we have over the next, let's take a look at that schedule again. That's probably what I was going to talk about, which is go down here to January 27th. Okay. Home game against the Detroit Pistons. In my best guess at this moment, I believe Jokic will suit up for the first time after his injury for the January 27th home game against the Detroit Pistons. I honestly think physically he's going to be ready before then, so it wouldn't surprise me if he came back before then, but it's 3-game road trip before then. And that's Washington, Milwaukee, and Memphis. So maybe he goes and plays on the road trip and plays like in Memphis. But this is bothering the crap out of me. Oh, I don't even know if you can hear me. Let's make sure I didn't mess anything up. Check. Sometimes I hit these stupid knobs. Sound all right? Okay. You got to have the headphones on. Why? Because then you always hear yourself. And then when you go away from the mic, you're like, oh, wait, I just messed up. No, what the hell was I talking about? Okay, Jokic could come back on the January 23rd, right? 25th, 27th, somewhere in there. They're saying 4 weeks, reevaluate. No, Jokic is not a vagina. That's just what he is and not. He is tough, and I know the mentality of injury, and let me tell you why. Well, number one, I was an athlete, played every sport, and got hurt very little, I would say. I had a broken toe in 7th grade, high jump. Let me think, what else? Never really got hurt enough to not play in football. Don't ever remember rolling an ankle or anything, knock on wood, in basketball. I did get injured off the court, but never playing sports. Other than I was high jumping in 7th grade and I missed the mat and broke my toe. And once I broke my toe and I had crutches, you cannot walk with a broken big toe. Did you know that? You can't. So I'm hobbling around on crutches for, I don't know how long. It was probably like 2 weeks. And I was like, I hate this. I don't ever want to deal with this again. And knock on wood, I've been fortunate not to get hurt. But then I spent a long time as a ski area employee, first teaching snowboarding, then building and maintaining and managing the train parks. And basically what we did is sit up at the top of the train park and watch people hurt themselves all day long. And I've seen everything from, you'll never believe this, but we had a little half pipe at our resort. It was actually cut out of the dirt, and then they would blow in the snow and cut it every year. It was a 14-foot super steep high vert pipe. Terrible, terrible, terrible. No offense, but a lot of times when the pipe was open, people would just go ski right down the middle of it. They wouldn't really go up on the edges, but then you can ride up on the side of the top of the pipe. So this guy's on skis and his kid's going down the middle. He rides up onto the side and just kind of loses his balance and falls in the pipe. Not even going fast, just whoop. And I think he broke his femur. So he broke his femur doing that. There was a dislocated hip as well. It was some kind of tiny little movement. I think that might have been it. Either that one was a dislocated hip or a broken femur. But when you see these types of injuries, what I'm saying is anyone can get hurt doing anything. But there's certain types of people that are just prone to get hurt. And there are other people that are fucking bulletproof. Actually, I should probably not cuss in this channel. But there's people that are just bulletproof. And Jokic is bulletproof, in my opinion. Obviously, when he got hurt with his knee, which anybody that's hyperextending their knee, they kind of know what that is. I'm not saying I have, because I haven't. I do remember a soccer guy that I played with did that, and then he was out for the whole season. I was like, why are you out for the whole season? But who knows? Maybe I haven't done it. But the way he was shaking and the way his mind was working and the way he was processing his injury told me that it was more serious than I thought. Luckily, I was wrong. And there was no structural damage to his ligaments, apparently, according to imaging. So I think Jokic has that kind of mindset where he's like, no, I'm coming back. I'm not going to be hurt. And like I said, in snowboarding, I had a rule in the terrain parks. I don't care if his guts are falling out. Give him 5 minutes. Now, that's an exaggeration, but the younger guys, the employees, would see somebody just fly off a jump, overshoot it, land on their head, land on their back, and just be like, oh, for sure we're pulling them off on a sled. For sure they got a broken back. For sure they broke something. And you would be surprised 9 times out of 10, you give somebody a minute or two and they just get up and keep going. But then you also have the little, the person that kind of just awkwardly falls and then they hurt their wrist or ankle or whatever, and then they have to be ushered down and cater. People are different. That's what I'm saying. Now, NBA players are all pro athletes, so I'm not saying any of them are like super Sallies. But there are a lot of them that use their injury to get out of not working. Jokic is not one of them. So in my estimation, he's going to be back in 3 weeks. So what would that put us at? He got hurt on the 2nd, I think. So 23rd. Okay, we'll put us at 3 weeks. So that's 22nd, 23rd is a back-to-back. The 20th is at home against the Lakers. Yeah, I'm still sticking with the 27th. Because then they have a 4-game home home stand. Detroit's going to be a tough one, but then they got Brooklyn again, and that's going to be a bitch slapping, let me tell you. Because CB and AG are going to be back to speed. Jonas, he said he hurt his calf when he was a rookie, and it took him 3 weeks. He's not a rookie anymore, but hey, Jonas could be back. Jokic could be back. They're going to get their payback on the Brooklyn Nets, I can tell you that. And the Clippers are pretty tough now. And then you got OKC. So that's why I'm saying 2 reasons he's going to be back. Number 1, he's not a vagina. Number 2, he wants to get up to speed before we start playing OKC. And then you got Detroit, New York, Chicago, Cleveland, Wow, that's a nice little stint right there, a little road trip. But we got to be ready for OKC. We got to be firing on all cylinders for that one. And Jokic can only miss 17 games overall. And I think that puts him around January 30th. If he waits till then he'll miss more than that and he can't be MVP, which I don't think he cares about that, but I do believe January 27th is my day. Mark my words. Oh, the other thing I want to talk about was the commentator's curse. So we'll do commentator's curse and then molestation pressure, and then we will wrap this little nugget show up, and we'll do it again tomorrow, because tomorrow will be the 76ers ass whooping. All right, so so last year I had this idea that I don't want to say I'm superstitious, but I'm saying that there are powers outside of our tangible world. Some would call them supernatural. I just think there's multiple powers that are outside of our what we can feel, touch, measure, and see, and taste, and smell, and sense. All right. And sometimes you piss off. What a lot of people say is you piss off the basketball gods, or you appease them, or whatever. Well, I don't like having gods. To me, there's just God, and he kind of doesn't care about basketball, but I think he gets a kick out of a lot of things. But you also have these jockeying levels of energy out there that, I don't know, I just kind of picture the devil screwing with Job. And if you don't know the story of Job, ask AI. But God was like, have you considered my servant Job? And he's like, yeah, obviously he adores you. You've never let anything bad happen to him. He's the richest person on earth, and he's got all these good things. And God's like, okay, well, why don't you have at him and spare his life, but have at him, and we'll see. We'll see if he turns his back on me. And then Job goes through these extraordinary trials. If you didn't know, look it up and you'll be shocked. So you think right now Denver's going through extraordinary trials. We got CB and AG are out. Oh no, Cam goes down. Oh no, Jokic goes down. Valanciunas the next game. Yeah, well, ask Job. Job's like, hold my beer. Anyway, the devil's like toying with Job. And then he comes back to God and he's like, he hasn't cursed you yet, but just let me, I think first it was take away his family, and then it was his health, and then it was basically everything. Job lost everything except his life. And I think the verse was, though he slay me, I will follow him. What does that have to do with the basketball gods? I'm not sure. But there's a lot of little curses, I think, that happen. Now, the one, for instance, I noticed last year was the jersey curse. I thought, and it was verifiable with my spreadsheet, maybe on the next episode I'll find that and pull it up and look at the numbers, but they were losing an extremely higher percentage of games wearing white. And it also felt like it, like I could almost see it. Like, and that's kind of what I saw today, to be honest. Jamal Murray was wearing, I honestly don't even know what you guys are looking at. Learning how to use this software here. That is not what I want. Okay, that's what I want. Is that what I want? Whatever. Oh, crap. See how I get distracted and then it's just, geez, what was I talking about? That would be a good thing to have as a partner on the show, because then the partner can keep you accountable. Or maybe add a chat. Actually, I should have a chat. How am I going to see the chat? Oh, I don't have any views, so There is obviously no chat. Comments will appear here once the broadcast starts. I wonder if this thing is even broadcasting on YouTube. Let me look that up real quick. If anybody has the opportunity to remind me what I was talking about, that would be great. I'm just going to go to my channel here real quick, maybe. View channel. Whoa, it's showing it. Wow, that's cool. Why is nobody watching? What did you think of my... Jeez, is that this? Check. Do you guys hear that? Check. What do you think of my YouTube thumbnail? Oh, you know what that is? That's my phone. The electromagnetic waves going through in this thing. That's what that is. Huh. Well, I think that's a damn fine thumbnail. And I used AI image generation to create that today. Believe it or not. AI is going to make things too easy. But that is the Little Nugget Show post-game insight. So I guess if I click on it, I should be able to see myself. Nugget Show post-game insight. Whoa. So I guess if I click on it, I should be able to see myself. Nugget Show post-game insight. That is crazy. Whoa. So I guess if I click on it, I should be able to see myself. Nugget Show post-game insight. That is crazy. So I guess if I click on it, I should be able to see. Where's the chat? That is crazy. Do I seriously not have a chat? Okay, we're gonna have to. I'm gonna like my own stream because. Wait, I gotta turn this thing off. Whoop. Let's turn that off. Actually, let's turn the phone off because it's. Wow, that was crazy. Feedback and interference. Okay, I wanted to talk about, the curse, the commentator's curse. Okay, so last year, the jersey curse. This year, I'm watching games and I'm like, I really don't see the jersey curse anymore. I don't really see anything bad. But every now and then, I notice a commentator say something like, the basic commentator curse is, Jamal Murray's 7 for 7 from the line, and we could really use this free throw here, but he is 7 for 7 from the line tonight. And then bricks it. Oh, I guess I jinxed him, right? Everyone's familiar with the jinx. The commentators jinx. You don't want to jinx them, so on and so forth. But let me point something out. There was 2 examples that I remember, and there's a lot every time I watch a game. But the commentators, when Jokic got hurt, there was one. But what was the other one? They just have this way about them. Like, for instance, Peyton Watson scored 20 points in the first non-Jokic game, and they win the game. The next game is Cleveland, and the commentator, Scott Hastings, I believe, is saying, in the 5 times previous in Peyton Watson's career where they scored 20, because they basically say, hey, in last game, Peyton Watson did really good. He scored 21 points, and they won. Honestly, if we take a look at it, the last 5 games, or any time Peyton scores over 20 points, the Nuggets are 5-0. There you go. Bam, they lose the next game, and he scores 20 points. That's a curse. That's a commentator's curse. And there were some viciously obvious ones, but the Jokic one was terrible. Before the game, they're like talking about all the injuries. Jokic and Valanciunas hadn't gotten hurt, but Cam had just gotten hurt. So AGCB's out for a long time. Cam gets hurt. They're talking about all the injuries, and then they're talking about how resilient and how many games Jokic has played over his career and how very few he's missed and how Jamal has only missed 1 game this year and Jokic hasn't missed any. And then right before halftime, bam, he goes down. Oh, speaking of which, we're going to go over that real quick. Hopefully you're sticking with me here. Dun, 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 dun. So how do I get that to come up? I think I have to share my screen. And it's going to be Jokic and something. Okay, so we're going to go there. So I want to evaluate the Jokic injury that, in my estimation, was caused by the commentator's curse. Can you see that? No, because I have not added it. Okay. Bam. And bam. There we go. Okay, what you see here is the Miami Heat and Jaime Jaquez. I don't know about you, but every opposing player, I have the easiest ability to hate. Every single one of them. Some a little more than others. But the other day I watched the Warriors play against OKC, and while the Warriors are playing, when I normally hate every single one of them, I mean, you can't. It's kind of hard to hate Steph, but you can definitely get to hate when he's dropping bombs on your head. I'm rooting for the Golden State Warriors. I love Pajemski, and I hate that mother effer normally. But if he's playing against a team that I hate more, you know how it is. Anyway, Jaime Jaquez is one of these guys on Miami. Like Butler, he plays for Golden State now, but when he was with Miami, I kind of didn't hate him. Plus, we beat him 4-1 in the final, so whatever. So what you see here that is worth noting, a couple little golden nuggets that you might not see anywhere else. 61-63. Denver is ahead in this game. Jaime Jaquez is about to do what he always does when he gets the ball. He drives into the paint, lowers his shoulder, goes barreling in there like a linebacker on meth. And in this situation, Spencer's all about it. Spencer Jones will take those hits every time and give those hits. Unfortunately, Jaime Jaquez not only drops his shoulder into him and pushes him and pushes off, or not only drops his shoulder into him, but also pushes him off, and that causes just enough out of balance to Spencer Jones where he steps back, steps on Jokic's ankle. Jokic went to move his leg, but he couldn't, and then gets the hyperextension, right? So this dumb mother effer, Jaime Jaquez, that I will hate for the rest of his life for this, even if it's only 3 weeks. I mean, he very well could have destroyed all of basketball. If you blow out Jokic's knee for a year, I'm not watching anything. What a chump. Anyway, let's watch it. Let me see if I can. Okay.
21-point first half for a guy that already has 2 games.
Left shoulder, bam, push off.
Collateral, put it in softly with 3 seconds.
Now we're going to go to 34 seconds. So Jokic is here right
to end here in Miami.
One thing you can see,
all of Mile High Denver right now.
I'm not sure if that is going to cause trouble, the audio there, but when he's on the ground and he's shaking his feet and his hand, watch his right hand is curled, and then okay, I'm going to show some more. Fuck you, Jaime Jaquez. At least give a shit about what you did. I'm going to have a hard time
Mile High Denver right now holding their breath.
You see his hand. Look at his hand. He's like, don't, and it's shaking. He's like, that shows me. Anyway, here we go. Let's pause this. Okay, Jaime Jaquez. I mean, it's not even a good athletic position. Give me a break, dude. It's like literally just super right foot plant, left shoulder drop, and boom. Not only does he knock him off of balance, but look here. Watch his left hand extend.
Knee area.
Whoop, pushes him back. Jokic, at this point, has not hyperextended his leg, but he's going to move his leg back. He's like, oh, geez, that guy pushed him into me. And he can't. And then he goes, pop. Oh. Watch Jaime Jaquez. He's already gathered the ball and taken a step. Now watch him walk after the fact and then airball.
He hyperextended the left leg there as his own teammate stepped on his foot.
It looked like he stepped right on his ankle. Right there.
So nobody that I've seen said anything about it.
And
Honestly,
right.
actually, to be honest, the DMVR guy, Adam Mares, said it. He actually brought it up right away, talking about how Jaime Jaquez goes in there barreling and pushing off. But he was the only one that said anything. That's causing problems, dude. This is the type of NBA shit that we're going to talk about in the coming, episodes of this show. Like, why? And I'll tell you this. I'm a referee for volleyball, high school volleyball. And I have been. Hopefully, I'm going to be doing state soon. So I've worked my way up there. I've been coaching basketball, so I haven't ref basketball, but I'm going to start reffing basketball probably next year. And it is now my goal to become an NBA ref because they are so shitty. Like, how hard can it be? Right? No, honestly, basketball reffing is the toughest reffing for sure. You get all the abuse, but I love it because I played basketball. I talked a lot of shit when I played basketball. I still talk a lot of shit when I play basketball, and I should probably stop because I'm an adult now. They're like, don't talk shit to the kids when I'm coaching them. Like, well, tell them not to be little cocky mother effers. But let's back that up a little. Can we? 20 seconds. Jaime Jaquez Jr. Look at that left shoulder. Boom!
Knee area.
He literally knocked Spencer off balance. Spencer athletically had to sprawl to get back in position. But look at his left arm. Look at his left arm push off.
The replay. Watch
shoulder, arm.
Knee area.
Shoulder, forearm.
Oh.
It's you, Jaime Jaquez. And then he walks,
the left
and then he airballs.
As his own teammate stepped on
and then
his foot.
dumbass
Looked
gets
like he
that
stepped right on his ankle.
easy rebound
Right
while
there.
Jokic is riding in
leg,
pain.
Spencer
You know what would be
Jones.
nice? Get the rebound and just hold the
Jokic
ball.
right now
Have
is
some respect for
limping.
the best player on the planet.
To the Denver locker room. That was an ominous sight to see Jokic
Fuck you, Jaime
hobble out
Jaquez.
halfway through this game to the Denver locker room.
So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Nugget
Game is
that we
tied
pulled
at
out today.
63, but the injury to
Where's my thing? Oops. There we go. Whew. It's got a way of pissing me off, man. There's a lot of aspects of basketball that I hate. Like, there's still a lot of aspects of the NBA that are unbelievable. But, like, for instance, sometimes I hate the just overwhelming reliance on three-pointers, right? And that's why I like Jokic so much, because he understands the purity and mastery of the game in terms of orchestrating an offense that isolates and shines a light on, what's the word for that? Isolates and highlights the weaknesses of a defense and attack the weaknesses. And once they adjust, attack their adjustment. It's a chess match to Jokic. But a lot of these lazy bums just run down the court, sit in the corner, wait for their pass, skip pass, and then they shoot a three. And then they shoot 20 for 56 threes in the game, and they win. That was Boston a few years ago. And that's kind of an aspect of basketball I don't like. The other aspect is flopping, or it's not flopping. Jokic does a lot of flopping that I don't really like either. Embellishing. And I really just don't like it. But Shea, on the other hand, is different. SGA is a lot different. He's basically getting these. He comes in and does the Jaime Jaquez. Boom! And then the guy literally stands him up, reaches up and then barely dinks his arm, and it's a foul. Like, how does an offensive player get to literally barrel in, drop your shoulder, hit you as hard as you possibly can, and then push off, and then the foul is against them? That's nonsense. And we can't have that anymore. We honestly just can't have it. So I'm glad I got to point that out. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, and then I'm going to wrap it up, is the deep dive on pressure. Let me get a little something to drink here. Stand by. I was going to show you a video of me coming back from the grocery store that I filmed in my get up today. But I don't think I can because I can only share MP4s to this software and it's an MOV. So I would have to figure out how to change my clip. I've done it before. I think you have to do it in Final Cut though. So I can't do it. Actually, where's my camera? I could just show it to you, watch. Is this it? 42 seconds? Yeah, maybe this will work. Oh, wait. Okay, that ain't gonna work because I'll have to. Give me a second. I'm gonna go change the focus on that. Because this is studio camera. We don't use autofocus. Okay. So we're going to be in this range here. And we're going to... There we go. Boom. Today. So this is me balling back from the grocery store with my favorite beverage. How's that not? Oh, I guess you can see me, right? My fat ass. I got a lot of Denver Nuggets garb. I love it. Oh, look at this from my wife. I actually have 3 of these, I think. She knitted each one of these. Well, this is only one, but of the 3. And I usually wear it when I go to the game, assuming it's in the winter. And we went to a game this year. We went to the only game where Denver just handled their business. And thank you. You're welcome. Because that was definitely us. That was against Utah at home. But I just love the Nuggets colors and story. And more than anything, I love what they stand for in terms of playing good basketball. What I don't love is their inability to handle pressure. So let's talk pressure. Like I said, I am a middle school coach, and I've been coaching more or less a club team that has done different leagues, but just little things like YMCA, Parks and Rec. But for 2 years, we kept the season going by practicing at a middle school, a brand new middle school that if you get into the right people and you ask them, hey, can we have permission to use your gym? We would go 6 to 8 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I had to start a club team and a business and get insurance and all that. But we did it right. And we had that 2 to 4 hours a week all year long. Well, up until school ended in June. And so we had a lot of fun. And what I would tell my kids is when we're playing, we don't call fouls. Like, we don't call fouls. You need to learn to play without fouling and play getting fouled so that you can't complain with the refs. But then we would go to play these 3-on-3 tournaments were the worst. We would play these teams that were the worst defenders, not just. So I'd coined the term molestation defense. And if you don't know what that means, then you need a dictionary or you speak a different language. So if a guy's humping your leg, you're getting molested. And a lot of these young guys especially, they get up, they start, 50 cal. A lot of these young guys, they get up, they put their arms like this around you, and they try and then they're just basically humping your leg. Now, I know how to handle that as a player. I know how to handle that tight defense, what Scott Hastings calls up in your chili. You got to hurt them. Now, I'm not telling anybody to fight, although we used to fight a lot. I played in the 90s, so I don't know. Sometimes a basketball game would break out when we went to a fight. I'm serious. We had rocks thrown at our bus, and it was violent. I am now in Colorado, but I went to high school in New Mexico, and it was in the small schools all over the state that there was always drama. Anyway, when these kids are doing the molestation defense, I hate it because they're literally taught by their coach to just be as aggressive as they can. And if you don't have good refs, you're fucked. Because I'm literally trying to teach these 12 and 13-year-olds how to play decent basketball. But they're getting molested. So normally, if you're a good ref, you're going to call a foul on the defense, a couple of quick fouls. Hey, you're not going to be reaching. Hey, you're not going to be humping his leg. You got to give him a little space. You can't be just touching him and slapping him and pushing him and grabbing him. Each time we do that, we're going to call a foul. That backs those defenders off, and they learn, hey, I need to play better with position and angles than molestation. But these fucking kids, it's a lot easier to be aggressive and on defense than it is offense, right? You can't just tell a new kid that's like never played the game, grab the ball and do me a Kyrie Irving aggressive drive to the basket. You can't do that because you got to learn those skills. Defense isn't that way. It's kind of like I played football most of my life, and I chose to go to a few different schools for various reasons. And one of the schools I went to, I had to play soccer because they didn't have football. So I'm playing soccer. I think it was my junior year. So I'd played a lot of football. And I had no idea how to play soccer, but I knew how to be aggressive. And that's what I think about when those kids are, I actually got thrown out of almost every game. No, I did get thrown out of every game. To be honest, it wasn't because of, I wasn't that violent. I was definitely aggressive, but in soccer, they give you these stupid things called yellow cards. Well, I went to a private school because that was the only school that would have me at the time. And they had a rule on the soccer team that if you got a yellow card, you had to sit the rest of the game. Ridiculous. So I think I had 10 yellows and 1 red. Anyway, my point there is when you suck and you don't know how to play the game, you can still be aggressive. And I was aggressive as hell, knocking people over, taking the ball. The ref would be like, hey, you can't do that. Well, when you do it in basketball and the ref isn't calling anything, then you're screwed and it's not even basketball. We had this league, Parks and Rec, where we were playing a team that was just straight out of juvie. It was like everyone's boxing everyone. It was the worst experience I've ever seen. I was like, and I literally just had to throw my hands up and be like, what are we doing? Refs, we're not playing basketball. You want to play prison ball? We can do prison ball, but I'm going to have to bring my kids over and tell them, look, punch these motherfuckers in the nose. Kick them in the nuts. When somebody's got 2 guys on you, one of you needs to run full speed, drop your shoulder into him, and flatten his ass. Like we would do that in football all the time. But that's the only response to pressure is violence. Now, kids, if you're on my team and you're listening to me here, pretend I didn't say that. No, I'm being honest here. The only response to pressure is violence if you're not going to get good refs. The refs can control that. And they should always control it. There's this idea that if you come out with super high pressure on a team, the refs can't just keep calling all the fouls. So they see that you're aggressive and they're hardly going to call any. They're going to let you get away with a lot. That's the idea of Oklahoma City's overwhelmingly frustrating defense. But there's so many tricks in the NBA. We'll highlight those in our upcoming episodes. But there are so many tricks in the NBA. You always got to have a hand on somebody. And then there's the reach around grabs. You got to know where the ref is so that you reach opposite of the ref. When they go up, there's always a push. And I'm not actually opposed to it. I kind of like the idea of, hey, you're not just going to allow a guy to go up, especially when he's 6'10" and can fly through the air. Nobody's going to stop anybody. So I don't mind a little contact. But on ball pressure, 50 feet from the basket at half court, when they're just absolutely graping, that's Grape, the ball handler, like they do to Mo, it's so annoying. So that's my little nugget on pressure. Whew. It's an effective hat, I'll tell you that. Oh, well, what's the solution for Denver? They don't have one. Their guards cannot handle pressure. The only time Murray can handle pressure is when he can throw it to Jokic, because Jokic can always handle pressure. And he's going to reset the system. And Denver has that ability. If you're going to lock down Jokic, kick it out to Murray. If you're going to lock down Jokic and Murray, Murray kicks it to Peyton. Somebody else scores. But when there's only Murray and he's not passing the ball, there's no hope. And that's what happened tonight against the Brooklyn Nets. So thank you for joining me, everybody. This was, actually, I've had no viewers, so I can't really tell you. Thank you for all the future people that are going to come back and watch this. The one tomorrow will hopefully be at a better time. And you know what I'm probably going to do is get on the DMVR live stream post game. And I think it's a later game, so we can do that. I'll get on the DMVR live stream and make some super chats and tell them, hey, everybody, come to my channel and join me for the Little Nuggets post game show. But I don't want DMVR to think that I'm some type of competition, because I'm not. But I had 2 Nugget insights today, molestation defense and the Jaime Jaquez problem. We'll call it that. So those are your 2 nuggets. You're welcome. Those are golden nuggets. Also, we need to start mining silver, because we need to start looking for silver linings. This is actually silver. That's silver. And that's silver. That is a total of 5, 7, 8. 8 ounces of silver linings. What are the silver linings? AG looks pretty good. I deathly worry that he's going to get hurt. He grabbed his hamstring today. As a matter of fact, he hurt his left one and he grabbed his right one. And that was the same shit that happened last year. It was like his left calf, then his right calf, then his hamstring. Dude, chill. But I love to watch him play. He's violent. And I like violence. Meet violence with violence, and then it's like peace through strength. When you know somebody's going to come flatten you, you don't do that shit anymore. But when you know you can get away with it and nobody's going to do anything about it, you just keep doing it. It's not rocket science. What was our other nugget? Pressure and, the Jaime Jaquez. Okay, so we'll see you tomorrow, and I'm going to guess at what time here. Oh, don't show me that stupid result. I guess we can look at the... is there anything else I wanted to show you on here? Nuggets, Jokic. No, there was nothing. Why am I not seeing the games? Okay, so real quick, let's look at the Nets and the player stats because I want to see who won between Porter and the Nuggets. So Porter had 27 points in 32 minutes. And the Nuggets had 27 points in 40 minutes for Maul. So 2-7 for 27 or 27 for 2-7. And him and MPJ tied. Oh, Maul has 16 assists. That's right. That's crazy. Peyton had 23 points. That's cool. Clowney, that fucking guy. 4 3-pointers made. Screw him. And Demon? Whose last name is Demon? Are you kidding me? So Porter had 27, 11, and 5. And Murray had 27, 6, and 16. So both double-doubles, but I would say Jamal's was better, but the Nets won. So there you go. That's the summary of the game. Now we're going to go back to the games. Show me the games. And we're going 6:30 tomorrow. 6:30 Mountain. Jeez, I thought it's because it's in the East. So it's 8:30 over there. All right. So if the game's at 6:30, it usually goes 2.5 hours, which is 8, 9. The DMVR show will probably start around 9, and they'll be done around 10. So I'm going to try and... I did one at 10:30 today, right? 1 hour. Yeah, 10:30. So tomorrow will be around 10. Same time. And if you get the opportunity and I'm able to super chat on there to get a few fans over here, let me know what you think of it. Like and subscribe because I'd like to keep doing it. And if I don't have any subscribers or likes and it's not shown to YouTube, then it's going to be hard to justify the time that I put into it to my wife, who is probably, she's super supportive, and I really appreciate that up until this point. But literally, if nobody starts watching, then, what's the point? Except to just get it off my chest. And the beauty of this is that it's a new show. And anytime there's a new show, you have the opportunity to be like the only one commentating, the only one chatting, the only one there. So we can talk back and forth until there's 5 people. And then when there's 5 people, it's a little more difficult. But then when there's 10 and then there's 100 and then we start getting super chats, then we can all buy new jerseys. Oh, wait. No, only I would be buying the jersey. But that's fine because I like buying jerseys. So let's work to that goal. Thank you. Goodbye.